this morning, when I opened my inbox on the computer, on my email, it was flooded with emails. And by the emotionality or the emotional content in these emails, you would have thought that there was an explosion and the whole country was almost demolished. People were extremely upset. So, of course, they contact me and say, "What's up?" Okay, so what it concerns is apparently there was a video released of a little boy going, there was a meeting of a group of Indians from a particular country with His Holiness Dalai Lama, and a little boy had asked if he could give His Holiness a hug. This happens a lot, little kids do that. So he came up and he gave His Holiness a hug, and the video shows, then His Holiness kisses him on the mouth and then sticks his tongue out and says, "Suck my tongue." So people are going, "His Holiness is a pedophile, sorry." Okay. So, I mean, really, people were so upset. And it was in the New York Times, on CNN, all over the place. Okay, so I want to talk about this from several different viewpoints. Okay, one from, is it an accurate video? 2, cultural considerations. 3, our own response. Okay, so the first person who emailed me was Atiana. Some of you remember her. She was here. And she was very upset, but she wondered whether it was artificial intelligence. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have seen videos made with the AI. They can be very, very convincing. Yeah, and people can whip these up quite quickly. By the way, this event apparently happened in February, so this is 2 months later. Yeah. So she found something on, I don't know if she contacted Andreas or found it online, but Andreas Montano, who happens to be an old friend of mine and a student of Jeffrey's as well. He's a professor teaching Buddhism in Guatemala. He had the wherewithal to check and see if the video was made by AI. There are things online where you can go and show the video, and it says, what degree of probability that might be. And this particular video came out with a high probability of being AI. Okay, so that's one thing. I don't know one way, I don't know the other way. Okay. But just consider it now in this day and age. Then second, if it is an accurate video, if it was real, what are the cultural considerations in this? Okay, because here we're dealing with an event that happened in India, an Indian child and a Tibetan monk. Okay, just so you know, in India, some of the customs are very different than here. For example, men in India will walk down the street holding hands. They're not gay, they're straight men, but they hold hands. That's perfectly acceptable in India, okay? They very seldom walk down the street holding the hands of a woman. That is not acceptable, even if it's their wives, yeah? Very seldom do you see that. Okay, so it's a different environment. Second is when the video shows it happened, nobody in the audience, who were all Indians, this was an Indian child, nobody stood up and said, "What are you doing to that child?" Rather, they laughed and they applauded. They saw it as, His Holiness being playful. Yeah. And that's very much how I saw it. I've seen His Holiness in many, many, many situations. And he is very playful, and he likes to joke a lot. And I could very well see that as something that he did that way, and that the audience responded in that way. Okay, so just to consider that. Then the really important part of all of this is, what is our reaction? Yeah, instead of looking, His Holiness, what is our reaction to this? Yeah, are you shocked? Are you scandalized? Do you laugh and say, that's an incident that took place for 1 second? Maybe 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah. Or do you consider it something that makes you lose all faith in His Holiness forever and ever, and say everything He ever taught you was false because you saw that video? Yeah. So I can look at it and I can say, I know His Holiness well. I think it's playful. For me, it's not a big deal. Yeah. And, because I know His Holiness well, I've received teachings from Him. I know He's 100% excellent teacher. I know His ethical behavior is very good. Yeah. So, okay, there's this video. Yes. Yeah. Yes, if it is an accurate video, yeah, the action would have been better if it wasn't done, because it can look inappropriate to other people. But I wonder why it was brought up 2 months after it happened. And, and why, if it was really that horrible, the parents didn't do anything at that very moment. Okay. But then the thing is, do you lose all faith because of one mistake that somebody made, assuming this isn't AI or whatever? Yeah, does that make us completely discount all the good that person has done? It was interesting. I was working on Venerable Wu Yin's book this morning, and I happened to come across a sentence where she said, even Aryas and abbots and abbesses make mistakes. I'm traumatized, Well, okay. Yeah. I've probably made a lot more mistakes than Aryas and abbots and abbesses, a lot more mistakes. Do I want people to judge me based on an inappropriate, it wasn't, he didn't fondle the child and, nothing like that. It was really something that was like 2 or 3 seconds, and the child did not touch his tongue. So, how does our own mind operate? Do we hold people to impossible standards, and make snap judgments right away, especially in this day and age of artificial intelligence and where we're dealing cross-culturally. Yeah. Does an inappropriate action mean that every single thing that person has ever taught you or done in their life is now worthless and that you are shattered forever and ever? If it were like a huge scandal, somebody, who knows what going on with a parade of women and blah, 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 then you could really question somebody, But this kind of thing, that was quite really, His Holiness's sense of humor. Yeah, are we going to throw everything out? Well, that's our choice, isn't it? Yeah, that's our choice. So, in which case, if every time somebody did something inappropriate in this world, then we would have faith in no one. Yeah, including yourself. Oh, except I know you're all perfect. Well, think about that. Am I all perfect? Do I want people to lose all faith in me because I did something that was culturally inappropriate? Yeah. So just think about it. Calm down, chill out a little bit. Yeah. If you're His Holiness's students, remember everything He's taught you. Yeah. And are you going to throw that out and say, my faith is shattered forever and ever and ever? Where's that going to put you in terms of your Dharma practice? Where's that going to put you in relationship to everybody on the planet? Every single person is going to be unacceptable, wrong, and bad in your eyes. Yeah. And that's exactly what the Dharma is trying to help us see, is that people are not 100% this or that. Yeah. And to be able to discern and discriminate different things and not just explode and make a lot of accusations. Okay? Questions? Comments? Yeah. Oh, before your question. If you think what His Holiness did was like total pedophilia, then what about when I go to Latin countries and I give a talk and men who I don't know come up and kiss me? This happens in Latin countries. On either cheek, hugging me. Yeah. Do I scream, rape? Yeah. No, it took me a while to get used to. This is how people in Latin countries show their affection and their warmth. They don't know that you're not supposed to touch nuns. Yeah, Buddhist nuns anyway. Yeah. At first I was like, what are these guys doing? But it was like, okay, chill out. Yeah, this is their custom. And it's a beautiful custom. Yeah, I just was totally unused to it. And thank goodness I didn't scream rape, in the middle of Mexico City. That wouldn't have gone over too well. Your question, comment?
This morning it was stated that there was an email from the Office of His Holiness saying something about this. Could you say anything about that?
Yeah. There was an email saying that His Holiness apologized. He didn't mean any offense towards the family or the child, and he regrets his words. And so some people said, he's regretting his words, but he's not regretting his actions. But he didn't, he went like to the little boy. And beside that, yeah. So, so they apologized for it because there was such a big hoopla. Yeah. There's been other scandals in Tibetan Buddhism where they do not apologize. In fact, they defend it to the ultimate. Yeah. But this was very quickly saying, look, this was no intentional harm. Calm down. They didn't say that. I said that. Yeah. Other questions or comments? Okay. So let's go on. I encourage people to listen to His Holiness teachings, read and study his books. He's an amazing teacher, and you cannot find any better. Yeah. And if he kisses you on the cheek, don't scream. Okay?